What's up, YouTube? It's Credit Guy Frank here coming to you today with yet again another video. All right, y'all already know how I do it. I get straight to it. But before I do, I want to simply ask you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and more importantly, guys, share this video with anybody that you know that can benefit from it. This is not going to be a video about any how-to steps, do this, da. This is going to be a video about the mindset that I had to acquire in order to get the things that I needed to get done. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, how I thought before, things like that, and what it led me to. All right. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right. Now, also, hold on. So you already know we're doing giveaways next week. So comment below, guys. Let me know who's under these videos the most, man. I need to see you all. Y'all been doing a really good job with that, but it's coming up. So I just wanted to continuously make you guys aware, because once those giveaways come out, I don't want to hear, or I didn't know, or this and that. Listen, I gave you guys a warning, so you got to stay tuned. Make sure you hit that bell as well so you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. All right. So today I want to talk to you guys about the fact that I was actually broke until I adopted this mindset. All right. Now, as you all know, I talk to you guys a lot throughout the day, right? Literally after hours, in the day, sometimes in the morning, right? Depending on how everything is going. If I had something crazy going on in the company or something like that, then I'm not going to be, of course, talking to anybody. But usually I talk to you all throughout the day, all right? And one thing that I need you guys to understand is y'all need to have the will to win, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? When I say have the will to win, right? And I understand this completely because I was literally the same way. Any little thing that will get in the way, I would stop doing what I was doing. Any little thing, whether if it was my girl at the time, whether if it was an argument with a friend or something like that, or somebody who didn't see things the way I saw it because I knew, right? I knew what to do, things like that. I would let things like that slow me down, stop me, or deter me, okay? Because at that time, I didn't have the will to win, all right? Now, what I mean by that is, again, understanding that when you have a goal, all right? When you have a goal, you can guarantee that the enemy, whoever that is being used at the time, does not want to see you conquer that goal. Okay, so notice how anytime you ever have a goal, anytime you say, hey, I'm going to do this, hey, I'm going to do that, things start to get in the way, like almost immediately. And it's like things that you feel like you can't move forward unless you get this stuff done, right? And by the time you get all that stuff situated and straight, now you got another problem. Now you got another problem. So you're basically kind of self-sabotaging yourself by just tackling every single thing that you need to tackle instead of, well, every single thing that you want to tackle instead of every single thing that you need to tackle. All right. So with having a will to win, guys, you have to understand when you have a goal, things are going to get in the way of your goal. All right. But you cannot let that deter you from what it is that you want to do. Now, one of the ways that I overcame this was I started to understand, like, all right, I get irritated or I get upset when I have this bright idea and no one seems like they wanted to do it with me, right? Or no one really believed in my visions, right? Now, what I had to understand is nobody's going to believe in my vision, or nobody's going to follow my vision because they don't have my vision, all right? I thought, or I'm very modest, so I'm usually or used to thinking like, well, you know, there's nothing special about me, you know what I mean? Like, you can do these things too, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really that serious. When in all actuality, it is, because everyone doesn't have the mental capacity. You know what I'm saying? Everyone doesn't have the wherewithal. Everyone doesn't have the same goals as you, right? Some people say, yo, I want $100,000 a month. Some people say I want $100,000 a year. Some people say I want $100,000 a day. All right. Now, all three of those is three different kind of people, and not one of those people are wrong. All right. Now, what I should have been doing was exactly what I did to overcome that, which is instead of telling everybody what I wanted to do, instead of, doing anything outside of exactly what I'm supposed to do, I literally stopped doing that. So what that looked like was I began to learn everything in the business, okay? No matter what business it was, because I had to understand. I'm going to tell you what business I started with, but I had to understand that if I wasn't going to play all the parties, then I couldn't just cater to my strengths and my strengths only, right? I didn't have that luxury. So if you are somebody who's like me, just starting out, you're just starting out by yourself, use that to your advantage because you don't have anyone there to actually help you, right? It sounds terrible, but it's actually the best thing ever because once you understand and once you learn whatever your field is and you understand every single thing around it because you're the one who actually has to do it, which is kind of like how your job gets you, right? Like your job gets you, makes you study, trains you, and you're the one who has to do it along that shift, right? It's the same thing. You put in the same time. The only difference is you're doing this for you. And when you're going to work, you're doing that for someone or people that you don't even know. All right. So that's the first thing I had to understand. And that's also the second thing that I had to overcome, right? I had to make sure that I understood everything because it was just me. All right. That's something that is very important that I want you all to understand. All right. Not just because of, it's whatever you're doing, but also it always comes back full circle. You always have to be in the business so you can be out of the business, right? So I don't want to try to teach anybody something that I've never done before, right? Why would I want to tell somebody to get in a van and drive 70 miles, pick up this load, go over here and drop it? Why would I get somebody to do all of that and I've never done it, right? Absolutely makes no sense at all. So with doing everything, it made me a better leader because I was a better worker. All right. Have you ever heard that terminology? In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good worker. All right. Because you have to be able to empathize. If you can't empathize, then you're going to be like one of those bosses or you're going to be like one of those people who just don't appreciate people and the things that they do. All right. So I had to get clever. I had to start understanding like, okay, if I got somebody doing this for me, right, because I'm delegating these tasks now, let me make sure that they eat. Okay. Let me make sure that, they're good. Let me make sure I check in. Let me make sure any little thing that I can do it because it's not really hurting me. And also you're doing me a favor. All right. I never want you to forget that when somebody's working for you or anything like that, you're not only doing them a favor, they're also doing you a favor as well. All right. So don't forget that. So I had to understand those few things. All right. Another thing I had to understand was the fact that I need a partner, okay? Not just a partner to tell somebody this is what I want to do, not a partner to see my vision or anything like that. A partner with understanding, listen, I understand this or these businesses in and out. All I need you to do is help me do X, Y, and Z using your credit or use whatever it is, right? Because partnerships is literally the most important thing that you can do in life. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're doing, you're saving for something. I don't care if you're trying to, whatever it is, guys, partnerships are the best. I can't tell you this enough because whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's going to take half the work, half the resources, half of everything if you got all parties involved. All right. So most people, until you're actually in the business, kind of like doing everything, really have it all mapped out. They're really not even trying to hear your business. They really want to get rich, but they don't want to do it your way because it really doesn't make sense. Because if they were going to do it your way, or if they were going to do it themselves, then it would have already been done. So the fact that you're bringing your way to the table subliminally kind of tells them like, well, you probably should have had this already going on, right? So I've learned that people are more susceptible to join once you have everything going instead of trying to start with you. Now, like I said, that is an advantage for you because of the simple fact that if you can understand each part of the business, you can understand how to delegate everything. You can understand how everyone is getting paid. You can literally have your foot on everybody's neck. And guess what it's doing? When you create systems and processes like that, it's taking you out of the business. It's taking you out of the business. Any business, every single time. To the point to where you can have multiple businesses running at the same time with the right people in place because you know how to treat them and you knew how to bring the proposal to them. You can have the right people in place to actually oversee or be working in that business for you. All right. A lot of times, guys, people just don't want to do the work. And it's sad, but it's true. People just do not want to do the work. I know you probably know people with great credit and they just don't want to do anything with it. They don't want to learn anything. They don't want to do anything. They want to be rich, but they're not going to do anything about it, right? Or they might not have any credit at all. And literally, you see them struggling and they just don't want to do the work. Like, I don't know. It's the craziest. It took me so long to kind of like wrap my mind around this because I have an abundance mindset. I have a go-getter spirit. I don't care like what I got to do. If I ain't compromising my morals or anything like that, it's done. It's done. Like, period. Especially if it's going to better my life, my family life. What? It's done. Period. Right? So these are some of the things that you have to understand, especially because I want you all to go to people close to you guys. Kill that ego. Because if you can't go to your uncle, if you can't go to your sister, if you can't go to your brother, if you can't go to your significant other, how are you going to go to a stranger and get what you're worth? And you can't even, or you scared, or you don't want to bother somebody that's right there to you. Right? So this is how you kind of start to break down some barriers to where you're like, all right, because money, it takes a while to you to kind of get comfortable with talking about it. It takes a while for you to get comfortable with having those uncomfortable conversations and things like that, especially when it's somebody in your family. But once you can get past that barrier, now you can have a conversation about it with anybody, especially guys, especially if you're knowledgeable, All right. So partnerships and things like that is the best way to go. The way I started was in trucking. All right. I started in trucking. I got my first van, right? Well, it's vanning, right? But I got my first van, right? And then I literally didn't want to be a driver. Okay. So what did I have to do? I had to outsource everything because I'm the kind of person I want to keep my time and I want to make the money because I can't be in the business because guess what? Now I can't do anything else. And my value is much better outside of a vehicle than in a vehicle. Okay. So I had to outsource that van. All right. I had to. It was mandatory because it wasn't going to be done by me. Certain things I'm not even willing to do. I'll do it to say I know and I understand it, but there's nothing I'm going to do to wrap up my time, my effort, and my energy to where I can't help you all. I can't answer a call from somebody who needs me. That's not the life that I want to live. This is for me though, right? I have self-awareness as to how I am. Okay. So that was a partnership deal. This literally how I got my first van. I also did the same thing when I got into real estate. Right? I didn't start off traditionally in real estate. I didn't start off using an FHA loan. I didn't start off using 401k or what else do people like? I didn't start off doing those things. Okay. I started off by first understanding, how do I buy a property? Okay. How do I buy a property and keep the equity in it? What is equity? Why is equity important? Right? Those are the type of questions that you need to ask yourself. Those are the type of things that you need in front of you because those questions that need answers, if you're going to get those answers, guess what? They're out there, right? Even I have them, okay? They're out there. But you learn so many different things like the art of negotiating, okay? You learn just how to talk to people, all right? Because I started in wholesale real estate. Therefore, I can go up to anybody blindly and have a conversation about your property. I can look at it for 15 seconds and be able to literally decode the whole thing. I understand the property value or the ARV or whatever you want to call it, right? By being in the neighborhood, just looking around, I already know from the square footage, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, period. It's not hard, but it takes studying. It takes locking in, okay? Because the more confidence you have in a subject, the easier everything is. If you know you're really not confident and you're really not knowledgeable in it the way you need to be, then you're not going to feel comfortable. It's almost like, and I'm going to leave y'all with this analogy because I don't want to make this video too long, but it's already long, so who cares, right? It's almost like when you're listening to a song and you're out, okay? If you haven't heard much of the song, you really don't want to be trying to sing the lyrics and doing all this stuff because you're going to feel out of place. You know you don't know the words and you're going to look kind of crazy, to be completely honest. But guess what? If you have that song and repetition, 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 right? What happens is it's like it gets like clockwork. Okay? It gets to the point to where I can literally spit this out no matter what. Those same principles need to be done when you're learning whatever it is that you need to learn. Okay? So turn the rap videos off for a second, turn the sports off for a second, and the same time that you will put into that, just put it into something that you can actually benefit from. It doesn't even have to be long. I promise you, literally, consistent time frame in 2 weeks. If you put at least 30 minutes into whatever it is that you want to learn every single day, in 2 weeks, you're going to know it like the back of your hand. It's I really don't even care how complicated it is. 9 times out of 10, you're going to know it like the back of your hand. And if you don't, guess what? Every Monday or every week you look back, you're going to know much more than what you knew before. And that's going to always make you a better or great leader. All right. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the most important thing. Knowledge is generational wealth. I don't care what nobody told you. It doesn't matter how many businesses you got. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Knowledge is generational wealth. Okay. It's almost like a cookbook. Okay. Grandma's or great grandma's cookbook. When she leave that recipe, she left something. Okay. She left something. That's generational wealth right there. That is generational food, okay? Generational wealth is knowledge based, in my opinion. A lot of people will say, hey, I made 100 million. I passed down 20 million to the family. That's generational wealth. That's not generational wealth, because what would be generational is if you actually took the tools, the knowledge that you've learned, put it on paper or on video, right? And pass it off to your family, all right? And then your great-grandson or your great-great-great-grandson or your grandson. And now they are a much better version than you, took all of the things or all of the principles that you created and literally reconstructed them to make it fit for their life, all right? If you watch this video, the whole 18 minutes, comment below, generational wealth. It's Credit Guy Frank here coming to you today with another video. I didn't really teach you guys anything as far as step by step, but this is a video that I just wanted to talk to you about how to get out of the mud, how to get out of the rut, because it is that time. Not only is it time to make money, but it's also time to grow and do the right thing. All right. It's Credit Guy Frank here coming to you today with yet again another video. I'm out.